Okay, and let me share my screen. And Bill, can you let me know if you see the slides?
Yes, I do, Neil.
Excellent. Let me move that out of the way. So this is meant to be a reminder, not a training from scratch. There's a whole lot to doing either packet or voice. We'll have time to do a little bit of tutorial, but if you've never seen any of this before, it might be a little much. So here's what I'm hoping to accomplish during this half hour to 45 minutes that I'm stealing from your lives. And by the way, if you have a question, it's few enough of us, just by all means, just say something. So just go over what we're going to do on Saturday, give a brief introduction to what it means to operate on the message net, another one for packet net, some pointers for more info, and then a call to action of one of the reasons we're doing this is to try to recruit and train folks to operate the EOC in an emergency. So it's going to be at Heritage House. I believe everyone here right now knows where Heritage House is. I got messages from a few people that they didn't know where it was. So if you go to council chambers, it's the next building to the north, a small freestanding building. I'm going to open up the building at about 9 o'clock. I'll try to have coffee because just so people don't get grumpy. We'll start the tours at 9:15. Should be plenty of time to finish it before the operating shifts start. And I was going to have a 10 o'clock and an 11 o'clock shift, which if we have enough people, we'll only have one shift. And we have enough signups, we might want to have two. And everything should be done by noon. So the major thing we're going to do on the voice message net is sending and receiving ICS 213 messages. And did everyone print out their copy of what a 213 looks like?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I realize, I should have a copy locally. Hold on just a second while I find my copy so I can bring it up on the board. So sorry, it's butzing. So here's an example of the form that you all have in front of you. The PDF version, you can actually enter into it and print it out or save it. So on the receiving side, if you can either handwrite in these positions or you can fill out on a computer. In our radio room, there's a shortage of computers, but at the county, or if you bring your own computer to an operating station, that's one of the possibilities. Every form has two message numbers. One is from the sending side and the other is from the receiving side. And I'm leaving out a little bit of complexity because it's possible to relay also. And you can enter that information here. This is the time and date when the form was composed. When you're actually sending it, you're supposed to put the time and date that you sent it down here towards the bottom, as well as who you are and how you sent it, which is generally amateur radio. There's a set order to send it. It's on the slides, but it's basically top to bottom, left to right. So you're going to do your message number if you're the sender, the date, the time, the handling order, and whether, if these fields, if they're set, then you'll do to and from, subject, reference, and messages in 5-word groups. You will pause after each one of those little breakpoints and let the receiving station say, go. If they're transcribed it all fine, that's all they'll say. If they have a problem, they'll say, repeat to field or repeat all after and give a word. And if they're really doing that, not doing well, they'll say repeat everything. So it's really easy to send too fast. So if you're sending, I recommend pretend you're writing and don't send faster than you can write. And if you're getting a lot of repeats, you need to send more slowly. There's a whole, so that's basically this form. One other really crucial thing, a lot of these fields have numbers, and unfortunately they're almost, but not quite, numbered in the send order. And probably be an improvement if they did, but they didn't do it that way. So, but if you're not sure about what the fields mean, on the back side of the form is a description of what each one is for. When you're handed a form, take a look at it. Try to make sure that you understand what's there, that there's no required fields that are blank, that if anything's a scribble that you can't read, that you try to get someone to let you know what that scribble is. Because once the person walks away, it can be too late. They might go off and do something else. So let me move that back off here. There's a whole bunch of stuff called pro words, which are basically predefined terms to help make sending faster. So there's pro words for if you're going to spell something out. There's pro words if it's numbers. There's pro words if there's symbols. There's pro words if you just don't understand things. And actually, I think I have more on this on the next page. Oh, nope, it's the page after this one. So, so this was just basically the sending order that I said before. This document here, by the way, I am going to, I can't do it right now because it's presenting. Actually, let me just stop this. I am going to paste into chat and I will email out later a link to this document so that you can get to all the links and expand them. So that's now in chat. So, this is a link to the document, and if you're just navigating there, this is how you navigate it. That document is 40 pages jam-packed with all the details of the county standards for passing messages. It talks about pro words, it talks about sending order, it talks about all the different forms. You're not going to memorize it in one go, but it is useful to take a look at because it really does try to answer all the questions that come up. They revise it on a regular basis. Oh, hi, Elise and Mira. I see you joined us.
Hey.
Don't
know if I can do video.
Hey, Neil. Hey, everybody.
You can do video, but there's no reason to. Let's see. So, where did I put the other page? So anyway, this document here is really useful. Anyone who's doing voice should take a look at it before the drill, just to remind yourself of all the stuff going on. And then there's 3 classes that you can look at the slides on. And they cover all sorts of things of what it takes to actually operate. There's links in there, or you can go to the SEC Aries RACI site and go to the classes, and those are the names of the classes. Once again, the class is a 3-hour class, but looking through the slides will at least let you know what's up. So let's, I'm going to pause there and see if there are any questions.
No, so you're gonna show an example of this during the exercise on Saturday of actually using these forms and messaging in that protocol.
Well, someone will be sending, and I'll have some test messages. I wasn't planning to do a demo, but we could certainly take the very same messages and in a different room do a, a dry run or a simulation, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Would
Okay,
that be useful to you, Roger?
Well, no, I'm just curious to actually hear one of these run through, and if one's going to happen naturally, that's sufficient. But just to see that how that goes back and forth, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, one thing I didn't put on the slides is I believe once a month there's a message passing net on Tuesday night at, I believe it's 8:30.
And they use this protocol as well?
Yes. So this is
Okay.
the practice for people to either practice hearing or sending if you sign up.
Okay.
And I think monthly, it's February 27th. Nope, that's the packet one. Let me get. I'm not seeing the March one, but there is an April one. I think it's generally the second Tuesday. Sorry,
Ah,
I'm not seeing it on the
Neil, do you-
county website.
A question then, do we have to have taken the Aries Races field ops classes and message passing classes before participating in the message passing practice net?
I didn't make that a requirement, but you kind of need to know that information, so you at least needed to have read the slides.
Yeah. Okay, but actually having taken the class is not required.
Not by me. To operate on at the county level, yes. And
Yes,
I
yeah, yep.
strongly recommend them because it really does try to take you through it step by step of what you need to do.
Okay. It looks like
Hey.
folks are having trouble seeing your slides for some reason.
Can anyone see them?
yes.
I can see them,
Yeah.
but Mira and Elise say they can't.
Mira, what kind of device are you on?
I'm on a Mac.
Try disconnecting and reconnecting because they are being shared.
Okay.
And Elise, you seem to have been on a phone. I don't know
I'm on
how.
I tried to get to it from both my elise.sure01@gmail account and also from my Elise Sure at MVLA account. I have
Oh.
an MVLA, Mountain View Los Altos High School District account as well because I sometimes do long-term
Okay.
stuff.
So I'm sorry, when you said don't have access to slides, you meant the shared slides, not the ones I'm presenting right now. I
Yes,
misunderstood.
the one you put in the link,
Yeah,
yes,
let
the
me
one-
take a look at that. Hold on
it
just a
says you
second.
need access, and then there's a little
I'm
thing to
gonna put
request
request it.
access. So I requested it.
Yeah, I'm not reading email right at this instant.
Okay, no
so-
worries. That's fine. Just wanted to follow along on that. No problem. This is the same ones you're showing, right? What's shared?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
then that's fine. No problem.
Sorry, it'll just take me a minute to get there. Can you give it another try?
It's kind of hard right now.
Yes, I can get in now. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for that mistake. I thought they were already shared publicly. So last call for questions.
Yeah. Now I can get to them.
Last call for questions at this time. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to packet. So Packet radio is, by today's standards, really, really, really slow. It's 100 bytes per second. But in spite of that, it's still 3 to 5 times faster than sending by voice, and it's relatively error-free. So it's preferred for everything but urgent messages, if you can make that work. The county has a really robust system. They've put years and years of effort into it. There's 4 fully linked bulletin boards scattered around the county. So almost everyone is in good line of sight to at least 2 of them. And then they have a front end to make it easy to go access it. So the packet station is already set up in the radio room. More advanced uses might be knowing how to change channels, which the various packet stations are, etc. In this case, you're just going to be a user. And there's 2 different forms we're going to send and receive. One is the station check-in and check-out, which is a standard form now. And the other one is that same message form, but in packet form, sent by packet instead of voice. And I was hoping to do a live demo, but unfortunately, I couldn't get this working at home. So I am this is the Outpost program. Is this big enough to see?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So it's modeled on Outlook. Got an in tray and out tray of send messages. You can hit send and receive, and it will send anything in the out tray and receive new messages in the in tray. This went on the wrong screen. This is what a new message looks like. This is actually a delivery receipt, so it's very short and sweet. There's forms that you can send. So a check-in, check-out message, which is opening on some random screen. So here it is. You can type in your call sign, and this should have had more people in it. And then basically once this is completed and filled out, you can just submit to Outpost. So I am going to close that. You can also show you what it would look like when it was sent.
Wait,
Oh.
now explain to me, you've got this locally. Do you have a packet radio at your you're home right now, I assume?
Correct.
So do you have a packet? Can any person have a packet radio and participate in this kind of message passing?
Yes. As a matter of fact, there's a weekly test where people are encouraged to send a packet message every week.
Interesting. Okay.
And about 50 people in the county do so.
Why, I mean, somebody did this take over from ham in terms of emergency messaging? Or I think you said everything but urgent messages.
Yeah, so first of all, this is sent via ham radio. It's just digital instead of voice. Right. And so more people have HTs and radios that they can just carry around. So everyone starts with voice, but people are encouraged to get a packet set up. So if you're sent to like a shelter or EOC that is at an alternate site or anything else, you can participate in the net.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
And all the EOCs have a packet radio. So I am just going to close that, and just to show you very quickly, I know I'm racing through this. This is I'll just, here are the standard messages, and there's little information about each of these and the sending thing. These are hospital ones that aren't distributed to everyone. And then here's the same form I showed you before. Oh, it popped up in a strange place. Give me a second. That that is fill in fields that you can type in and then send. And if you had received one of these, it would pop up in the same type of thing, only filled out already with what the other side sent. The thing about Packet is it doesn't send anything but the parts inside these fields. So it just says, you know, field ICS position, here was the content. So it's a relatively compact form.
Neil, do you have an example of what one of these messages would look like if you were to receive it?
Well, just, unfortunately, I lost my browser with the presentation, so I'm probably going to have to open it up again. So let me just bring it up.
Or
Right.
I don't mean to interrupt. You can just maybe show after the presentation.
Well, I just showed it to you a moment ago. So this is
But-
exactly what.
But like some content rather than just received message.
Well, let me see what I have here. So this is using an older system. This is the summary they send out every time. That's not useful. Minimize that. Go look at my sent messages. Appears at 213. So here's an example of a filled out one. It's very minimal, but it's the time, the date, the message number, sent to planning, ready room LIH EOC, and the subject is this, and the message is test. I don't know how helpful that is, but this is an
Okay.
example of an actual test message that I sent a couple of years ago.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
And what Outpost does for you is it takes care of all the mechanics of encoding the message. So you can just look at an HTML form and it'll take care of sending it. Any questions?
So if this is for non-emergency, then what sort of messages would we be passing through this? There
So
was
in
something, sorry, go ahead.
So it's actually, I said it was for non-emergency. That was a little bit of a compression. It's actually good for everything, but if you've got an urgent message, you're supposed to also get on the voice net and say, I just sent you an urgent packet message. Because packet messages are polled and people don't always poll all the time. If that makes sense. So, but it's the preferred way to send it if you have packet.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, and now here's my call to action. You know, one of the things I'd love to have is a set of people trained to a standard that the town has agreed to, that you've met this standard, you're blessed to help operate in the EOC radio room. And, you know, you'll be authorized in an emergency to go open it up or go there and help operate with someone else if someone else opened it up. And that's one of our goals of the Ham Club, is to work out that contract with the city, the town, I should say, you know, so that everyone agrees and it's part of the emergency plan and we have a known set of procedures so we're not making it up during an emergency. And that was the last thing I had. So I wanted to thank you guys for showing it up, and it's open mic if anyone has anything they want to say.
Yeah, question. Following up on the packet thing. So you said that's kind of the old, slow way. Is there a newer way?
Not that the county uses.
Okay.
Well, I lied. They have a Wi-Fi-ish setup, but it's really hard to get onto, and we don't have line of sight to any of their stations. So for Los Altos Hills, it's not used.
In terms of using ham frequencies, are there other digital mechanisms that people are using that are taking over or that are coming in the near future?
Yeah, it's not a short answer. So
Okay.
the short answer that I can give you is not at this time.
Okay.
There's a lot of experiments and individual onesie twosie setups, but nothing that has the reliability of the current system.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else?
So last time, Neil, there was a drill like this. I remember coming into the radio room, and there were two people there. One was on the big system, and one was to the side. I guess the side table was where the packet messaging was happening. Is that will we be doing all that setup again on Saturday?
We'll be doing the same kind of setup on Saturday. Is that because we're really only going to be using one frequency, one for voice and one for data. And so I was thinking we would have two people operate at a time, a main operator and a scribe, and two people on packet, just because that's all we can fit around the screen.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.